Ladies and gentlemen here tonight, my name is Hakeem Hopkins. I'm the founder of BlackandNobel, and we're presenting Brother MFUNDISHI. We're really looking forward to this being very informative. He's the author of Spiritual Warriors are Healers, and we're going into Black History Month with a great explosive night brought to you by Brother MFUNDISHI.
To go back and fetch what we have lost. There's no secret formula for liberation. Our ancestors laid it all out for us. And it is clear. You heard of the expression, the writing is on the wall? Well, it's still on the wall, waiting for us to grasp it. That's why I'm a component, and that's why I'm constantly trying to teach people to learn the medu nature. Medu nature, let me just put the words up there. Medu nature. It means the divine, wise words of the Creator. Medu is actually this word. Nature is this word. It's called honorific ordering. And among the African family, honorific order is important. Because if we were gathered around and they got ready to deliver some food for us, who would get fed first in our community? The elders. Because they held the wisdom, they're our Sankofa, they can allow us to go back, they're our teachers, they're our inspiration. You see what I'm saying? And then we invite the parents so that they can feed the babies and the children. Okay? It is important that we understand. So that's honorific ordering. That's the way we live our lives. If you're getting ready to walk through the door and it's you and your mom's, she goes first. That's honorific ordering. It's not that you want her to get hit in case somebody's on the other side, okay? No. Honorific ordering is that it's just respect, okay? And that's the way our language, the language of medu nature, is based upon that type of respect. So, nature is the word for that which is divine, divinity, the creator of energy. And so, therefore, when we're even writing certain words, like I even, people who were taking the class, so this is a shin, and in the shin, I'm going to put pt.2's name. So, in the shin, and the shin means an elliptical circle. It means in an orbit. And so the rulers considered themselves ruling every place that the sun rose and set. Okay? I know some of you have been to Egypt and you think you got a cartouche. That's French for a cartridge bullet. Because when Napoleon came there in 1798 and they saw these little circles with writing inside of it, somebody said, oh, that looks like a bullet. That looks like a cartridge. You know, so now they're calling it cartouche. And you're walking around talking about, yeah, I went to Egypt and got me a cartouche. You need to be smacked. Backhand. Learn your own language. Speak from your perspective. So this is a shin. Can I hear y'all say that? Shin. Shin, yes, okay? Which means elliptical circle, means a circle to encircle. Energy moves in circles and waves. So, Amen is the first thing on here. Tet is actually second. And then Ankh. But we don't say Amen, Tet, Ankh. We say Tet, Ankh, Amen. Because Amen represents the deity. It represents the creative force of the universe. It represents the creator that cannot be seen but can be felt. That permeates everything. That is in everything. Nothing is outside of the creator. The creator is the all. My chapter 1 in the book Spiritual Warriors are Healer goes into cosmology. Cosmology is the creation stories. And I show you 4 basic creation stories. And they don't contradict each other. They're showing you creation from different perspectives. If I'm standing on this corner, and you're standing on that corner, and you're standing on that corner, and you're standing back there, and we witness an accident, and somebody come by and tell you for each one of us to give our reports, they're going to be slightly different based upon the perspective that we were standing at when the accident happened. You're going to say, oh man, he just smashed right into the brother. But she's in the back. She said, no, there was a little kid and we had to swerve out of the way. You didn't see the little kid. You was like, he must have been drunk because he was swaying. You know, like that. You know. So we got all these different stories, but the final analysis is that there was an accident. Everybody saw that. Right. Okay. And so in ancient Kemet, they have several different cosmologies coming from different centers. talking about the same. One cosmology talks about the Creator willed things into existence with His word. Another cosmology says the Creator masturbated and brought creation in. Another cosmology says He reached inside and pulled out, from His own, inner, the essence of the universe, So these different cosmologies are all talking about septepi. Septep means the very first time, the very beginning. And so none of them contradict each other. They're just different ways of looking at it. It's like in ancient Kemet, we have 4 Nasut Bittis of the Necharu. Necharu is this Necha symbol with plural marks behind it. 3 slashes represents plurality. See, in ancient Kemet, we have what we call a dual tense. In America, we don't have that in the Western world. Because, we're not going to discuss why they don't have it, because you'll find out later. But we understood that we are part of the all. We're not separate from the Creator. We don't really need to look up. We need to look where? In. See, we're all on the same page, okay? Other folk think they got to look someplace else, okay? Because no, the Creator's in here. And so we understood the one. So that's here. That's the one. Then we understood that everything that perceives to be one is multifaceted. Right? There's this book has 2 sides to it, but it's one book, doesn't it? Yeah. It has an up and it has a down. Now, is that another book? No, it's the same book. So we understand this duality. So we have a dual tense in ancient Kemet. A dual tense. We understood that male and female are not 2 separate really entities. They are actually one entity from 2 different perspectives. Up and down, in and out. Do y'all understand that? When a male and female come together for marriage, they become one. If they don't, we got a problem. If she doing her thing and you doing his thing, y'all into a serious thing, okay? You got to be one. And if you have a child, you think it's 3? No, it's still 1. 1 is equal to 1. 2 is equal to what?
1.
I can't hear you. 2 is equal to what? 1. 3 is equal to what?
1.
And if I go on by dividing into 4, you notice how we forming a pyramid here, okay? All right? So this is, and kids eat this up, scientific math. You're doing math, science, and all of this simultaneously, okay? But it's only 1. So when you have that child, that's why it's important for you to, that child is a continuation of your ancestors that came through you. Doesn't belong to you. You just been assigned as a sacred guardian. A sacred guardian. We got parenthood confused. You're just a sacred guardian. You're supposed to nurture and protect that child until it becomes a being that can function on its own to give its message. In most traditional Africa, one of the most powerful ceremonies is the birthing ceremony and the naming ceremony. Not the marriage ceremony. The birthing and the naming. Everybody wants to be involved. You know why? Because this new energy is recircling. We talk about Sankofa. This new energy is resurfacing. Now, why are we saying resurfacing? Because if you understand science, you understand that energy cannot be created or destroyed. Only the Creator creates. Now, a mini creator means that you take the energy that the Creator has created and reorganize it. Right? Like I wrote the book, I ain't created, I just reorganized some information. Okay? That's all. You know, when you do a dynamic sculpture, you just took some clay and reorganized it. When you build a building as an architect, all you did was take natural elements and reorganized it. Okay? Alright, so y'all with me?
Yes.
Okay, so now when that child comes in, this ceremony, everybody in the village wants to be involved because a new energy is coming in and we all want to be involved in his education or her education because they came to reorganize some information to help liberate us. And you want to say, yeah, I helped him. Yeah, when he was 2, I took him on his first walk. You know, you want to say, well, I babysitted him. We all want to be involved in that. And in the naming ceremony, solidifies their mission. That's why it's so powerful. Some cultures wait 8 days, a week, before they name the child, because they want to see how the child, interacts with its environment. You know, if you screaming all the time, you just might be little big mouth. You know. I mean, they got all these different names, okay, all right? Societies where the priest goes in and communicates with the child while it's still in the womb. And the child tells him who he is. How many saw the little cartoon Karakou? Only one? Okay, all right. Y'all got to get this. You selling it back there?
Yeah.
All right, y'all need to get this from BlackandNobel. Karakou. It's a little African child. He tells his mother, "Mother, it's time for me to be born." And the mother's sitting there pregnant. She says, "Well, if you can talk from the womb, then you can birth yourself." So Karakou said, "Okay," he comes on out. "Mother, I'm Karakou." You know, he's telling the mother, "I'm Karakou. Where's my, wash me, mother." She says, "If you can name yourself and birth yourself, then you can wash yourself." So Karakou jumps in the little gourd, washes himself. The first thing he asks is, "Where is my father?" She says, "Well, the wicked witch of the east ate your father." "Where's my father's brothers?" "Well, they went to fought against the wicked witch and she ate them." "Where are your brothers?" "Well, they went to fight the wicked witch and they got eaten too, except for one. Where is he?" So right away, this child wants to bond with this male energy. You know, because that's the way. So the cartoon is trying to tell us how we're supposed to come in. But idea. So some priests can touch the belly and actually communicate with the child. Because after about 8 weeks, the child has beginning to come into his own direction. That's when sex is starting to be developed, because every child in the womb at inception is a female. And then the male evolves after a certain time, comes out. Okay, so that's the way the universe works. And it goes through all those stages, like the amphibian stage, a fish stage, amphibian stage. You know, almost every creature that has been on the planet, a child goes through that and through that 9-month period. Okay, so some priests can commune. So that child is thinking, you know, if that child's like 5 months up in there, oh, he's already thinking about what I'm going to do when I get out. Okay, y'all think, so that's why it's important what you say and what you're thinking. This is why in ancient Kemet, every temple had a birthing temple and a child center. Because it was so important, while that woman is pregnant, she'd come to the center every day, and they are programming the child while he's still in the womb, right, on his sacred mission. He's hearing the prayers and the chants. He's hearing everybody chanting. Now, mer is the word for love. You throw some seeds out there and don't do nothing with it, ain't nothing happening.
Right.
So you got to cultivate the soil, then you got to nurture it. You got to weed it, water it. You got to talk to the plants. When they asked George Washington Carver, how come he can, how could you invent 300 and something inventions from one peanut? He said, well, I talked to them, and they told me what to do. Mm-hmm. The only reason why they didn't lock him up, because he had already had the evidence. Okay? If he had said that before he had the evidence, we might not have got, his genius, okay? But he would go through and talk to the plants. He would get up early in the morning, he would just go out and commune with nature. One of the ancestors says that this thing we call communication, everything on the planet that is natural communicates and has a language. And if you're open and receptive and your energy is flowing, you can hear and understand it. When's the last time you hugged a tree? Took you too long. Okay, all right. You need a piece of petrified wood. Okay, all right. It is important for you to commune, especially you're here in the asphalt jungle, the silly Philadelphia, New York, all these cities. You're out of touch with nature. You need to be out there. Get into the park. Well, I wouldn't advise it here in the middle of the winter. But anyhow, you take your shoes off and you get to the park. Walk in the grass, when the weather changes up. You got to commune. You got to get back in touch with nature. It is important for us to keep this vibration. But now, back to this naming ceremony. So now, there's several ways I said that you can do this. But the name is going to, because now the child understands its mission. And so now we need to give the child a name that's going to help him. When Tut Amen came in, it says, the living image of Amen. So he was a physical personification of a spirit that could not be seen. See, now you can't be a chump with a name like that. You know what I'm saying? You know? And if you're a little boy and you name him Sally, he's either going to be queer, homo, backwards, confused, or an angry little boy wanting to fight everybody. And you did that just by the name.
Yep. That's right.
So you got to give him a righteous name, you know? And I'm not talking about a biblical name. Those are not righteous names. I'm talking about names that charge that child, male and female, with their mission. What is their mission? What is their purpose? And you have spiritual readers who can go in and kind of tell you, if you don't know and you weren't able to communicate with your child, there's ways to finding out. You can go to have a spiritual reading. You can, a person can do a astrological chart and plot, and because each of the planets gave you certain information. And so if I know the time you were born, the place that you were born, then I can almost tell you partially what your mission is all about. Now we get the other little details, from that personal person, and now your mission, you're supposed to be giving that gift to the world. And all the things that you do is supposed to cultivate. Remember we talk about the cultivation? Everything you do is supposed to cultivate your tools so that you can deliver your mission. And sometimes we get our tools confused with your actual mission. Like let's say you're a great singer. But that might just be a tool so that you can get some money to do what you really want to do. Maybe you want to be that missionary, or something like that. But you ain't got the money, to travel to Africa, to the Caribbeans or different places. But because your tools allow you and people appreciate and they pay for your work, now the money I can do that now to fulfill my work and do my work. Because some people get caught up. They think that their tools, is their whole life. We look at Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest boxers in the world. But those were tools. Later he became an ambassador. He could go places where the president couldn't go. The most recognizable face on the planet. Michael Jackson was moving in that direction. The most recognizable face on the planet. These African faces. There are no European faces like that. We don't have to make up heroes and sheroes. All we got to do is go into our Sankofa and pull them out. Paul Robeson, Frederick Douglass, Dr. John Henry Clark. They ain't got nobody like that. You can't name me some folks like that, quick, in the European perspective. Who, Rockefeller? No. Name me some people with some consciousness. Right. Bush? No. Look, we going like, we trying to think. Einstein? He was genius in one area, but then he stank, didn't know how to wash, didn't know how to tie shoes up. I don't know if I want to be a genius like that, okay, all right? And his formula, he tells you, comes from chemistry. Right. But they took a picture of Einstein when he received his Nobel Peace Prize. On his desk was Haru, Arset, Assar. Okay? All right? So those Europeans that you hold in highest esteem for their contribution, when we really go down to the nitty-gritty, they got their information from the Nile Valley. And we're afraid of the Nile Valley. They were Tesla. Y'all know the name Tesla?
The scientist.
It's the scientist. Electricity, energy, those things that we're using now, these lights wouldn't be on. So you wouldn't have had Edison and them be able to do this without Tesla giving you energy, right?
Alternating current.
He got all of that from ancient chemistry, studying the Ankh and things like this. And he wanted to give unlimited energy to the world. Then they had to kill him at that point because Ford, Rockefeller, and them got together and said, "Oh no, we can't put a meteor on the sun. We can't do that." Okay, and then they ruined his career and destroyed him. Okay, but other than that, he was their golden boy before that. Okay, but all of his information, ancient Kemet. Ancient Kemet. And we don't want to take the time to go in to really understand. So let me quickly, honorific ordering, let me end that up here, is that Amen is the divinity. It would be, let me make it down, I'm gonna make it real clear. What's your name, brother?
My name is Walkie.
Walkie?
Yes.
Your first name, Walkie.
No, I didn't my last name.
Okay, now, listen to this. Stevie Wonder's coming to town to do a show, right, at the Apollo. And Walkie is going to be on the program also. So when we put up the billboard, whose names go first?
Stevie Wonder.
Ain't no hesitation, is it?
Right.
Steve, no disrespect, Walkie, okay? All right, but Stevie going first.
Yes.
Stevie is the divinity. So Stevie's name goes up first on the billboard at the Apollo, appearing Stevie, right? Then they might put Walkie and some other folks, you know. But now, when it's showtime at the Apollo, showtime, who goes on first, Stevie or Walkie?
Walkie.
Walkie goes first. Because he got to warm up the audience. Hopefully you got something good, Walkie. I don't want you to go say the Apollo was rough. You know, they'll you know, banana peel you. Okay? Okay, so Tut Amen's name. Amen is Stevie. Tut comes, then Ankh, then Amen. Tut Ankh Amen. He is the living image of Amen. So that's the way, you know, names and stuff, you know. So this honorific ordering is going to flow all the way through the language. So this is why sometimes Europeans have a hard time trying to grasp this. And sometimes they use the rule, sometimes they don't. You know, like Ramses II. Ain't nobody called Ramses in ancient Kemet. It's Mesura. And his real name is Ursa Ma'at Ra Satepin Ra. See, but we run around talking about Ramses II. So therefore Ramses ain't getting none of that energy. He ain't getting none of that energy. And you got to speak up. You've heard me say this before. There's 4 ways we honor our ancestors. Number 1 is we speak their name. And not a Toby name. Their real name. Y'all know, how many people here saw Roots? Everybody here saw Roots? Right? Okay, so now, Kunti Kid, no, you Toby. No, I'm Kunti, Toby. Okay, I'm Toby. Okay, all right. I mean, he fought it to the end. But Toby is the name. Now, they didn't ask him his name. They just gave him a name that had no meaning. Unfortunately, 98% of the African population here in America has a Toby name. So that means just disconnects you from your culture, disconnects you from your ancestors, disconnects you from your homeland, and Sankofa becomes extremely difficult when you're Toby. Okay, y'all with me?
Yes.
Okay, so now, your name is supposed to give you your mission. It solidifies that. Okay, and so we can't have this Toby name if we are trying to get from one place to the other. That becomes extremely important. All right? So now, let's move on one more step here. The name of Kemet. So we're going to get rid of the Toby name. Egypt is a Toby name. Okay, so every time somebody talk about Egypt, say, excuse me, are you talking about ancient Kemet?
Right off the Barnary sub-stop, Philadelphia, PA. Shot so loud you would think it was a club spot. African Americans, although we all over the web, we the hood librarians. We ship to prisons too. We reach out and deliver to those that's bitten too, but it's more than a bookstore. You want it, we got it. Mixtapes, DVDs, and culture products. BlackandNobel got our hands in a lot of projects. We welcome all to come build. The energy is positive. Every member of the team is awake and conscious. Come through and experience this place of knowledge. They say they'll put it in a book if they wanna hide it from us, but we got them books so you can buy it from us. Something to read while you on a train or riding the bus. Get your read on, food for thought, get your eat on. BlackandNobel, I buy my books at BlackandNobel. BlackandNobel, I buy my books at BlackandNobel. BlackandNobel, I buy my books at BlackandNobel.